No one is above the law? When the enforcers become the offenders. For years, progressive politicians and commentators have rallied around a phrase that became a political mantra. No one is above the law. It was echoed through impeachment hearings, Capitol riot trials, and media coverage of Trump-era controversies. It was used to justify aggressive legal action against conservative figures and citizens. But in a surprising turn of events, some of the loudest proponents of this principle are now finding themselves on the other side of the justice system. From city officials to judges, a series of high-profile arrests and legal investigations have revealed that the legal system isn't as politically one-sided as it once seemed. This video explores the recent arrests and charges involving elected Democrats, the legal basis for those charges, examples of hypocrisy, if not contradiction, between actions and past rhetoric, what this means for the justice system and political accountability in 2025. The phrase, "no one is above the law," has a long and bipartisan history in American politics, but it was amplified during Donald Trump's presidency. Democratic leaders used it repeatedly to justify impeachment proceedings, 2019 and 2021, support investigations into election interference and January 6th, promote criminal indictments for Trump associates. This was particularly visible in media coverage, protest signs, and speeches by lawmakers such as Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. The phrase became synonymous with the idea that law applies equally, no matter your power, position, or politics. Yet that principle is now being tested in unexpected ways. In 2024, a family court judge in New Mexico was arrested under federal charges for allegedly harboring an undocumented immigrant with known gang affiliations. The judge reportedly used her home as a temporary shelter after ICE issued a detainer on the individual. Legal basis. Under 8 U.S.C. Section 1324, it is a federal felony to knowingly harbor or shield illegal aliens from detection. Legal basis. Under 8 U.S.C. Section 1324, it is a federal felony to knowingly harbor or shield illegal aliens from detection. In late 2024, Judge Hannah Dugan from Milwaukee faced scrutiny when security footage allegedly showed her facilitating the movement of a non-citizen criminal defendant out of the courtroom, reportedly to help him evade ICE custody. She was not formally convicted, but the investigation. This investigation prompted disciplinary hearings by the Wisconsin Judicial Commission. In early 2025, Reverend LaMonica McIver was detained and charged with obstructing a federal operation after attempting to physically block ICE agents from entering a facility in Newark, New Jersey. According to Homeland Security officials, McIver did not possess legal authority to interfere with a federal operation. Legal basis. Obstructing federal officers falls under 18 U.S.C. Section 111, which prohibits forcibly resisting or impeding federal law enforcement. Legal basis. Obstructing federal officers falls under 18 U.S.C. Section 111, which prohibits forcibly resisting or impeding federal law enforcement. Brad Lander is the Comptroller of New York City, the city's chief financial officer, and a key figure in municipal oversight. In early 2025, Lander also announced his bid for the New York City mayoral race. A staunch progressive, Lander has advocated for defunding ICE and resisting deportations of undocumented immigrants. In March 2025, Lander entered a Manhattan immigration court, accompanied by a known undocumented immigrant facing removal proceedings. When ICE agents moved to detain the individual post-hearing, as legally authorized, Lander reportedly attempted to intervene physically, placing himself between the agents and the detainee. Video footage showed a confrontation during which Lander was briefly detained by federal agents and later released with a citation. He was charged under 18 U.S.C. Section 111 for interfering with federal officers, though his legal team claims the act was peaceful civil disobedience. Critics claim Lander's actions were strategically staged to gain viral attention and progressive support. His press team was present, cameras rolling, and social media posts followed shortly after the event. Key question: was this a genuine act of protest, or a violation of law under the guise of activism? Many on the right now point to these arrests as evidence that Democratic figures who once demanded legal accountability are now facing it themselves. Two important legal facts to keep in mind. Federal agents, ICE included, are empowered to detain undocumented immigrants after court proceedings under 8 U.S.C. Section 1226. Any interference in that process, especially from a non-federal official, can constitute a felony offense. These laws were not passed under Trump. They've existed for decades, enforced by both Democratic and Republican administrations. The wave of arrests of progressive judges and politicians raises broader questions. Are elected officials held to the same standard they impose on others? Can public servants engage in civil disobedience without violating their oath of office? How do we protect law enforcement while preserving citizens' rights to protest immigration policy? As 2025 unfolds, political tensions are boiling over. Immigration continues to polarize voters. Federal-state conflicts are increasing over enforcement priorities. The narrative that no one is above the law is being tested by both sides, at the ballot box and in the courtroom. The arrests of high-ranking Democratic figures like Brad Lander represent a moment of reckoning. The legal system is proving, at least in these cases, that its reach does not stop at the edge of party lines. While motives behind these actions may vary, the law, once invoked for political gain, cannot be selectively applied. Because in the end, if everyone is truly accountable, then everyone must also face the consequences. Whether you cheer these arrests or see them as politically motivated, one thing is clear: the era of immunity by affiliation is over. And yes, no one is above the law. Thanks for watching.